Hello, welcome to the second semi-final of the Dented Shield playoffs. So this is the top two teams from the regular season. Geezas, who are Khemri, finished second. 5 wins and 2 defeats in the season. And no, it's not the top two teams at all. that was the second place team. This is the third place team. So it's Lizardmen team, Primal Rage. Who I don't remember their record. I think they had 4 wins out of the 7 in the regular season, but finished third. No team finished fourth, had 3 wins, so I'm pretty sure they had one more than that. Even on team value, we've got Lizardmen attacking, so we'll go behind them. Although we'll look at the hang on, who's setting up? Khemri is setting up. Right, I've got to get it together, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do this very well. Right, so 2 skeletons on the bench, 13 players, 4 Tomb Guardians in the team. One's out on the wing here, 3 in the middle. One has guard, one has Mighty Blow and piling on. We've got a Wrestle Skeleton on the line as well. So it's a bit of a lopsided thing, although they've got sort of 3 Tomb Guardians this side, 1 over here protecting this wing. Kind of, but it makes it a tough choice for which wing you might want to attack. So it's a tough decision for Lizardmen. We've got 2 Blitzrars, so one out on the wing, 1 in the middle here. Neither of them have levelled, which I think is a bit of a weakness on this side, having no levels on those Blitzrars. We've got a Block Thrower here, other one has Fend and Leader. The Wrestle Skeleton's dropped back there. That's all the levels we've got on the Khemri. Quite aggressive, quite a high line they're trying to hold there. I think if a skink gets through on the attack here, it's going to be tough to get the ref there. But it'll be tough to catch a skink who does manage to break through the line. So that's something to look out for. Lizardmen, not a lot in the way of advances. There's a Bloxsaurus here. None of the other Saurus have levelled. Crocskull hasn't levelled either. We've got a couple of sidestep skinks back here. Sidestep diving tackle on this one. A block skink here. They do have a second block skink who's missing the game. Picked up a niggling injury last time out. 2 skinks on the bench. So both teams, 13 players, so a bench of 2, are exactly the same team value, so there are no inducements. And both have just picked up a bribe from the kickoff result. And that is where we stand, with Lizardmen attacking. Gaining a bit of ground in the middle here, where there's sort of this pocket. Does potentially mean the Khemri could collapse on them a bit here if they try and push that a bit too much. But Blitz is being thrown there with the Bloxsaurus, kind of the right player to be blitzing with. Does just get a pushback though. Block skink goes for the ball. Will be the hardest one to bring down. There's a little bit of a gap there. That's if the Khemri can cancel these assists, which they can do is, well, I don't. They've filled it in now. So over there, so no getting at the ball easily. We'll have to move some Saurus out of the way because they're outstrengthening them. That's not going to be easy. Straight over here, that's onto a skink. So probably a big ask going for that skink. Surprised there was no follow up there to just stand on the ball carrier. But that's where we are. Would leave that Tomb Guardian more vulnerable, I suppose. 2 Guardians ganging up on the Crocskull. Crocskull is probably going to be in for a rough game against all these, outnumbered 4-1 by Strength 5 players. Saurus only need 2 assists for 2 dice on a Tomb Guardian though, so Lizardmen perhaps in a better position than a lot of other teams in the league for facing all this strength. Quite aggressive move by some of the Khemri here. They could find themselves getting left behind if Lizardmen can make a breakthrough over here. I think they've got 2 dice here, which could set things up nicely if they can get a blitz in. Don't know it's that easy to find the blitzer though. So Fend preventing some space being made there. Do get 2 dice on a Tomb Guardian, but just a pushback. Not sure we've seen a player knocked over yet into turn 2 without anyone being knocked down. Failed bonehead. I think was going to be that was going to be the blitz as well. So always a risk when you throw try and blitz with a big guy that you're just going to lose that action for the turn. Another pushback there. So not much blood in the Blood Bowl so far. But a slight spoiler, that does change in this game. We do see... well, there's one knockdown. But yeah, we do see a lot of removals in this game. Just to entice you. First couple coming now. And the bonehead allows... 3 dice on the ball there. Reroll those 3 dice and knocks down the ball carrier. Injury from the mighty blow, piling on also -1 armor value on that Blocksaurus, so block skink. So both the block skinks in the team now, but easier to hurt. But yeah, having doubles on a skink makes them pretty good, so it'd be a shame to lose them. And of course, more significantly, the ball's on the floor. So I think the Khemri don't want to fancy picking up in the tackle zone. That's a 5+. So just trying to get as many tackle zones on the ball as they can. Oh, that's a dead skink. And that's just swallowed. That was I think sidestep skink. Yeah, sidestep skink has bitten the dust. Croxy got in with a knockdown, but no armor break. And then 1 dice on that one. That's 2 skulls and a Stunsaurus. So this turn, it looks as if the Khemri are going to be able to work on moving this one Saurus, going for the ball. Sidestepping next to the ball, so that's the second touchdown tackle zone that they're going to need to deal with. And now we're seeing some knockdowns and some armor breaks. Are we looking at a blitz on this player? Yeah, just going 1 dice on this. Oh no, it's on the skink. Finds the power and another injury. So had there were no good sidestep options apart from onto the ball. But that was an injury. Actually, I missed what the injury was. Was it just a badly hurt? It was the diving tackle sidestep skink. Right. What do we pick up there? Yeah, just badly hurt. So that skink's just out for the game. Yeah, a lot of players down now. So 3 skinks off injured. And there's a dead Tomb Guardian, so that's the guard one. Yeah, regenerated. So it was a dead and a badly hurt with decay, but regened all right. On here, just having to throw some red dice, but gets a pushback just to try and guard that ball a bit. But yeah, Lizardmen struggling now on what is their attacking drive. I think really the ball getting dropped all stemmed from 1 fouled bonehead, which allowed a Tomb Guardian in for 3 dice on the ball, which injured the skink holding it as well. First pylon of the game does nothing. I think so far piling on has done absolutely nothing for this Tomb Guardian in probably 3 games, 3-4 games he's had it now. Not a single successful reroll. Khemri perhaps looking to get into position to capitalise on this ball dropped, being dropped. And it's pretty well shielded now. Barosaurus dodge, which I've seen this team pull off. Got 5+ dodge for 2 dice on the ball. Now 6+ dodge with that Tomb Guardian stepping in there. 6+ and 5+. Yeah, this is a pretty well protected ball. This is the only spot, and that's now covered off as well. This skink could have got around for 2 dice uphill. So knockout from the Croxigore. Croxigore's on 4 points. Has been in the game since the beginning of the season. So this is the Croxigore's 8th match, and just 2 casualties to show for it. It's not a brilliant return. You need the Croxigore and the Sauruses. You need them levelling, and casualties is their most likely way of doing it. Why we've only got 1 levelled Saurus on this team. Has to go 2 dice uphill. Could have taken used the both down there to knock the ball down, and would have lost the skink as well. Had to make a stunty dodge to follow up because of fend, but does do it. Gets a sidestep marker on the ball. Can use wrestle there to free up the ball carrier and move it forwards. So Khemri can decide if they want to score quickly now or try and hold it up for the rest of the half. And the way to it is pretty shut off. Had a dodge happening there. Oh, it's up there. Okay, so Blitzer dodging away. Need a reroll for the 4 and then a go for it just to get 1 dice on this Saurus. Which is successful with using block. And then, yeah, not doing anything about this one. So we can get ourselves 2 dice on this Tomb Guardian. For a knockdown. That's not a great deal they can do about the ball though, unless they're going to dodge this Saurus away on a 5. Gets them both down there, so might have been preparing for a 5+ dodge for 2 dice on the ball with that block Saurus, but yeah, the safer move being the Croxigore block, but that was yeah, stuck with the both down. Stun the skeleton, but a knockdown on the Croxigore and a turnover. Do still have this Saurus as an option. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 go for it where they stand, but I've got a 1 dice knockdown anyway. So I think no getting at the ball unless this skink can do it. Going for a foul with the Blitzer. So do have bribes in hand. Maybe worth remembering. That's a valuable player to be risking on a sending off. No good there anyway. And then just a stun on that post down. The Mighty Blow piling on Tomb Guardian, also prone as well, with that both down. But yeah, another turnover, so didn't score last turn, but may not have wanted to anyway. Oh, there's a failed skink dodge early on for another quick turnover, so moving quite through the first half pretty quickly here. Turn 7 already on this Lizardmen attacking drive. There's now no one who can score for the Lizardmen, which might have been where that, I don't know if that was where that skink was going to, just try and get in scoring range just in case. But it's pretty unlikely they're going to get the ball back anyway, unless this Saurus had made a dodge, maybe got the knockdown, scatter off the pitch, could have ended up anywhere. I think it looks like going for another foul here, so this is the block thrower, chucking a foul down, trusting in the bribes. No sending off anyway. Walked it right into the corner, so now definitely out of range of this Saurus. Yeah, where can it get to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 2 go for it to mark the ball. And a 5+ dodge, of course. Using the blitz there on that Tomb Guardian. It's 2 dice from a Saurus. Not much good. So that one is moving along. Another knockdown, but I think the Lizardmen are going to need a lot more removals to try and even things up second half. They're just taking the 2 dice there to push away and following up. So Khemri might go for some blocks. Still got a reroll left, and are going for blitz for that Tomb Guardian. Gets a knockdown. Tomb Guardian would level on a casualty. Chucking another foul in, but just stunning. Oh no, that's knocked out the skink. So that's no skinks on the pitch. Still 2 on the bench, and that one who could come back. Touchdown, running in turn 8. So I think that is quite similar to the first half these teams had when they met a couple of weeks ago, the last regular season game. It was Lizardmen attacking drive then, and the Khemri scored. It was 1-0 at half time. There had been loads of removals. But Lizardmen won that game 2-1. Just sort of had an incredible second half and managed to put it back and grab the win. But I don't think they had. I think it was a lot more knockouts that game rather than definitely out of the game skinks. But Khemri attacking drive this half, so we switch ends. Got 1 knocked out skeleton not coming back. Knocked out skink came back, so there are 3 skinks on the pitch. But down to 10 players, where Khemri still have their full 11. Still have a bench as well, a skeleton on the bench, as well as this one knocked out. So Khemri in exactly the same position as first half in terms of players available, really. And yeah, the Lizardmen have lost some of their best skinks. Probably the 3 of their best skinks. This one's sort of tied with the dead one. What have they got here? So 2 unlevelled ones. You've got 1 on 3 points, so worth maybe trying to get a touchdown on that one if available. Try and get the weather out of the way. So reasonably symmetrically, although the Crocs got over there. Khemri could probably have engineered 2 dice on the Croc score, so not really worth getting it on the line of scrimmage. So no use of the high kick, but there's a blitzer on the ball. And now scoring touchdowns with blitzers is a bit of a key way to get them levelling. And obviously I think all their touchdowns, except for maybe 1 by a skeleton, but they've all been scored by these 2 throwers, which is where they've got all their star player points. So this is a replacement as well. The first one had scored a few before dying. I think I'd probably have taken the pushback there rather than wrestling. Well, it does get a Saurus on the floor, but you'd have kept your own player's tackle zone doing that. I think I might also have had a blitzer on here instead of this wrestle guy. Could maybe have used the wrestle one to go blitz in the block Saurus, so both down still brings him down, even if it doesn't hurt. But extra Tomb Guardian on the blitz there. Just grabbing a pushback. And then holding a pretty solid line on this side, although they've left this side open. I think the Krotsigor can reach this thrower, and that could cause problems if that comes off. So blitzing round. Fails to go for it. Or passes Loner. Fails to go for it again. Yes, I remember that had happened. And that's one of the most annoying things when you got a loner player and you fail a 2+ roll and you re-roll it and pass a loner but still fail the 2+ roll. That's worse than failing a loner in the first place, I think. Waste a re-roll either way, but it feels more unjust. So looking at overlapping on this side a little bit. There's quite good width that the Khemri have got. It's not like they're showing all one way to make it easier for the Lizardmen to just collapse on them. And that may happen on this turn now. Don't really remember what happens on this this drive. It's like going right a little bit, but still keeping quite good width, and it's probably quite important to keep the players over here busy if you are going to attack one wing. Sort of keep your team in contact with each other. Don't split up and too much and send people down there, but for a sort of bash team anyway, you need sort of the mutual support of all your players. That's a well protected ball there, sort of a bit of a stretched out cage, but everywhere's protected. And yeah, sort of controlling a lot of space on the pitch by spreading the cage out a bit there. We'll have to watch out for things like maybe a skink jumping all the way in there to try and pull down the ball carrier. But that's a really risky move. So back over to Lizardmen for turn 10. Still some quite poor block dice for them. There's been a lot of pushbacks from Lizardmen. Not that many players knocked over. So we've got another blitz from the Croxigor. And 2 dice on that wrestle lineman, skeleton lineman, which gets a stun. It's indeed a mighty blow for the armour. But yeah, getting a prehensile tail marker on an agility 2 ball carrier is a good move. So that's a 5+ dodge away if they need to make it. And a strength 5 player is not that easy to shift under normal circumstances. Although all the Tomb Guardians are marked up. Can free this one up. Oh yeah, I remember this turn. So try to free the ball carrier here. Yeah, this Tomb Guardian's the one to do it really. And you've got an assist, so that's 2 dice if you can get it. So you need to get this Saurus either knocked down or pushed over there to do that. Now unfortunately, what you'd really want to do is blitz from this square where the stunned skeleton is. Because if you get stuck with a pushback, you can send him there and then the ball carrier is free. You get stuck with a pushback from here, next to the ball carrier, these 2 squares are the only spaces you've got available. But he's going to have to take that and just go fishing for a knockdown. Sort of no other way around it really. I guess if you go from this way, you've got another chance with 2 dice from this Tomb Guardian. You'd have to watch out for, if you only get a pushback here and this Saurus is here, you'd need to follow up so it can't assist. This one can't assist either. And if you're going there to there and following up, you've still got 2 dice on it. Again, looking for a knockdown, but you're doubling your chances of doing it with that secondary block. Does get a knockdown on that Saurus though. It doesn't follow to keep this one engaged. Yeah, so going there does mean does get a knockdown anyway. But a pushback there would have meant yeah, Croxigor's still standing next to the ball carrier and not a lot you can do about it. Although this thrower had 1 dice. And if that was a knockdown, we'd have had a nice clear path, I think. And I had to take a both down there. So that's an early turnover without the ball moving. So now Lizardmen can get 2 dice on the ball with a Croxigor blitz, as long as at least one of these assists is taken out. So I think I'd look at marking this Tomb Guardian with this Saurus, blitzing 2 dice on there, because that's, yeah, then strength 5 against 4 rather than 5 against 5, which it is at the moment. Yeah, I mean, big guy blitzes are obviously risky, as we've seen. Like you can lose it. But that's I think probably the best chance at getting at the ball this turn. Have 2 dice there though, just to push back. And then just stand in the Croxigor. Not sure if they have anywhere else to use a blitz really. 2 dice on that blitz roll. I can follow up away from the Tomb Guardian if they want to. to deny him an easy 2 dice block. Grabs a knockout as well. So that's one of the blitzers from the Khemri. Dodge away there. And yeah, Lizardmen just standing off a bit, trying to minimise the amount of blocks they're taking. But that's 2 dice on the Croxigor for a pushback. Just wondering about. I was looking because when I was watching this game and talking with the 2 coaches playing, I was wondering about if this was surfable. I think you could do it on 1 dice. I think you'd have to go. I don't know, where would you have to go? If you'd, so the Team Guardian, I think the Team Guardian are pushed there. Yeah, you've then got 1 dice from that one to push it there, and if you're following up, you'd then have to stand in there and then 1 dice blitz with the ball carrier to try and push off the pitch. So possible, but a bit risky, and you'd kind of be prioritising that over scoring potentially if you're going to 1 dice blitz with the ball carrier. Yeah, I think as soon as the Team Guardian pushes there, you're starting to look at red dice to get it done. So blitzing that skink. Don't know if maybe using the block blitzer who's holding the ball to throw that blitz might have been a bit giving you another chance of knocking a bit more chance of knocking the skink down on a both down. But also obviously the risk of a double skulls ruining your drive. So that's 2 dice on that Team Guardian for the Croxigor. So it could be a follow up into the ball again, which to undo the work of moving it out the way last turn. But that's a failed bonehead, which is going to scupper that. Yeah, looking here, yeah, they're both down, no good. Gets a knockdown. And Fend preventing the follow up onto the ball. Yeah, keeping the Saurus marked by that Team Guardian, which is not going to be where it wants to be. Saurus on the ball as well. Saurus and a skink. So Lizardmen are doing quite a good job of throwing bodies at the ball carrier to try and limit its movement. Ooh, 3 dice, that was going to be a turnover. Reroll to get a pushback. In fact, Team Guardian might have been better served trying to move that Saurus. Probably the only player here who can do it, really. Unless they've got a Team Guardian over here who can maybe 2 dice to blitz that one, and the pushback would have been no help either. Yeah, so 3 Team Guardians now very much involved in where the ball is. But still 2 markers on the ball carrier. And piling on did a thing. Yeah, I forgot that happened. So yeah, piling on death for that Saurus. Apothecary to get it back on the bench. Still missing this drive. Now blitzing with the ball carrier. Gets the knockdown it needed. And can now move forwards a bit. So is a bit out on its own, but there's not very many threats from the Lizardmen on this run forwards. Got 2 dice uphill from the skink if they want it. 5+ dodge from this Saurus to try and get there as well. Going for a 2 dice block first, but that's a both down, and Lizardmen out of rerolls. So quick turnover. This blitzer in, looking good for scoring. Probably when it wants now, really. And because the Khemri are 2 up already, 1 up already, this would put them 2 up. Could probably just get on with scoring and see how the rest of the game goes. But guarding up the ball down there, this skeleton can come around here as well, I think. Try and make sure that skink can't go anywhere, or, well, make it harder. Force it to roll some dice. A couple couple of 2 dice blocks from Tomb Guardians, and that'll probably be the turn. This Wrestle Skeleton could probably be where the blitz comes from. But I have to take a 2 down, a both down there, a 2 down. So 3 Taurus over here. I don't think you needed that assist. Could maybe have come this way as well to help out this Saurus who's a bit outnumbered. So throw the 2 dice blocks that they've got. Skink go for the ball. It does have space here. Possibly grab a knockdown, but there is a skull rolled for that turnover. Turn 15 now. So scoring here would leave the Lizardmen 2 turns to score, but if they did, that's a 2-1 win. Got some blocks to throw first. Just a push back. That's the movement free. Tomb Guardians not throwing any go for it's there. Looks like we go for 1 dice on this one. Yeah, 1 dice with wrestle. Takes the wrestle both down. I think even if that had resulted in a turnover, with Lizardmen very unlikely to stop the score. With the 2 dice uphill from the skink who was prone. That's 2-0 Khemri. So not as swingy as the last time these teams met, with the having a good half each. Khemri just had 2 good halves here. Loads of Lizardmen put off the pitch. And a 2-0 up with 2 turns remaining for the Lizardmen to try and score. So Khemri looks like they're setting up wide to make it harder for the skinks to get through. So Lizardmen here, really with the Saurus, probably have to prioritise making a space, which I think means blitzing this guy from this square, following up skink down the touchline. So the skinks, I think you're gonna need someone who, because it's turn 15 now, and if you want to score, you've got to make sure, obviously, that someone is in range now. So what do we have there? We had a kick just caught. So I think we need at least one of these skinks over here, sort of, yeah, lining up to attack this side with the Tomb Guardians holding the wing. Like, this is the weak point in the defence. This square onto here, that blitz. So I'd want Blocksaurus blitzing there, getting either the knockdown or at least a pushback for there, and then you got space where skinks can run down freely. And if you have one over here, I'd probably 2 over here. 1 to retrieve the ball, 2 skinks over here. 1 to just get down there as soon as possible. 1 to take a handoff and come down. And because the Khemri is so far forwards, you could get a long way down here, making it quite difficult for them to catch you because of the big speed advantage you've got over them. But trying to blitz in here and only getting a pushback doesn't leave much of a space. Obviously they've got dodge and stunty to try and get through, but it's forcing you to roll more dice, where this weak point was kind of the space to make that gap with no dice needing to be rolled by the skinks to just get through. Ball is up here, but has to have someone in scoring position. This skink's the furthest forwards, and it's got a couple of dodges to roll to get through there, but doesn't make it. So, yeah, a couple of 2s put pay to that. So no touchdown coming from Lizardmen now. And looks like they're going to try and get 2 dice on this Saurus. Probably see a blitz from this Tomb Guardian, who's most able to do the damage. I think it had a couple of casualties in this game now. This Tomb Guardian is an MVP away from levelling. on 26. And you can probably guess where the MVP goes after that. So you get 2 dice on this Saurus as well. About to take them both down, so misses out on the blitz. Oh, that's a skeleton who's levelled as well. That one that just got knocked out. Up to 7 points in this game. There's been quite a few casualties, so it's probably one of those. Knockdown. Nothing. Might see a Croxigore blitz. Just a pushback. And then, yeah, might as well chuck a reroll at it in the last turn, but just fails that loner and just takes the pushback. Go for a pass here. Oh no, could have gone for the pass for the point, but can also get 2 dice on the Tomb Guardian. Has to take them both down again. For just a stun, that's awesome. That ends our game. So Geezas, Khemri team 2-0 winners. MVP did land on that Tomb Guardian, so levelled. I think took guard to add to existing skills. Saurus levelling as well with an MVP, and took block, I believe. And I think the skeleton who levelled took block as well. I'm pretty sure it was. But yeah, quite a one-sided. Well, loads more armor breaks from there. So obviously there are some skinks, but a lot of armor 9 armor breaks as well. Not that many the other way, so a bit of a disparity in the rolls. Actually quite a big disparity in the blocks as well, and that's going to be more the difference than just armor rolls. We can look at those as well though. So 66% on those and 70 on those. So actually Primal Rage rolled a better percentage on their armor rolls. And then injury 71-50, yeah, but more removals for the ones that did get through. Which makes a big difference, especially in that first half with 3 casualties on the skinks and someone saw us later as well, but that was the Lizardmen's attacking drive, and it made it really difficult for them to get through. Quite a lot of star player points on the Khemri for that one, and that was that MVP 2 casualty Tomb Guardian. So they're going to play. Hang on, let's look at the teams. I want to check that skeleton did take block on its level. It was this one on 7 points. This one's a throwaway from levelling again. And guard on that Tomb Guardian. So the only levels, and quite a bit of cash in the bank. So maybe available for inducements in the final. And they do have quite a bit of a lower team rating already than the Chaos Dwarfs, who they'll be facing. So Lizardmen do have their other block skink back next time, who has a niggling injury. This one with -1 armour is missing for their game against Norse, and that was Blocksaurus was the only advance they took. And I think they might have hired a new skink to keep their bench numbers up, so they're going to have 2 on the bench for that game as well. And I know the Norse team they're facing have a pretty high team value, so they should be in for a chunk of inducements as well. That's how that one went. We've had one more game since, which was a 3rd place playoff in the Notched Buckler between Norse and Halflings, which ended 2-0 to the Halflings. So this was a big there's a massive disparity in injuries in this one. You can see the armor breaks there, 10-4. I think they were just really struggling with knocking Halflings over. I think Dodge did a lot of work, as far as I could see. Although it's fairly close on blocks succeeded actually, but just no removals, just like none at all. I think the only knockouts and stuff came from Halflings failing dodges and stuff. But 4 casualties inflicted, including 2 kills as well. And it was just a really big disparity in how the injuries were dished out. So injury rolls all successful for the Halflings. 60% of the armour. The Norse have Yeah, 56% of their armour, so almost entirely armour 7. But the halflings are almost entirely armour 6 and have stunty. So it kind of shouldn't really have gone that way. But that is where the dice fell, and that's the game we had, and the North just couldn't really keep up from that point, being down to so few players. And the halflings ran in 2 touchdowns to finish in the end 7th. So if we go back to our table, season 3, where's that gone? Yeah, our leaderboard here. So bottom 4 sort of confirmed positions. Halflings and the North switched in the end because the Halflings won that 3rd place playoff, finished 7th overall. We've got these top 2 meeting in the final sometime this week, and 3rd and 4th meeting to play for 3rd place. So all these positions still a bit up for grabs. And we can look at, so 200 difference in team value between these two already. Plus Khemri have a lot of cash with nothing that they want to spend it on. So might be throwing some money at that as well. And yeah, these are that wasn't as high as I thought it was, so a bit of inducements available for the Lizardmen in that game as well. I did only have 3 wins, but 1 more draw. Okay, I was saying at the beginning I thought I had 4 wins, but just a 3. But yeah, really these 2 teams kind of ran away from the rest of the pack, were hard to keep up with, and Khemri only lost their last 2 games as well. So yeah, for a long time, 5. They went into the game against each other, 5 wins each out of 5. Yeah, and there we have it. So almost at the end of the season, just the final and 3rd place from these top 4 to go, and I think they'll be sometime next week, or this week, because it's Monday. It doesn't feel like a Monday because it's bank holiday, but yeah, there we are. That's what bank holidays do. We'll see you hopefully later in the week for another game. We'll see what we have.